Good morning. We will start session 5 in chapter Light, Reflection and Refraction. So in the previous session we introduced about the refraction, that is bending of a light ray when it passes from one medium to another, that is a rarer medium to a denser medium. So now let us understand what happens, how does a light refract when it passes through a spherical lens. So basically what is lens? A lens is a transparent refracting medium, or a lens is a medium bound by two surfaces of which one or both surfaces are curved. Now what was a mirror? Mirror were only which is bound by one surface, where the another surface was polished rough, only one reflecting surface it had. Wherein lens is bounded by two surfaces where at least one or both the surfaces are curved. Otherwise one surface is curved and other surface is flat. So we have basically two types of lens, convex lens and concave lens, same as convex mirror and concave mirror. Here convex lens is called as a converging lens and concave lens is called as a diverging lens. That is, in convex lens all the light will come towards the center, towards the focus, not the center. At the focus they concentrate. See, if you remember, concave mirror and convex mirror, concave is converging, convex mirror is diverging. It is just the reverse of this. Remember that, you remember this very well, or remember this, you will remember that very well. So where concave is called as a diverging mirror, where the light ray enters a concave lens, it refracts in such a way that they diverge. So here we have a plano-concave convex lens where it is curved at one and flat at the another surface, or we call that as a biconvex where it is curved at both the sides. Plano-concave where it is curved at one side and flat at another side. Biconcave curved at both the sides. See children, concave, here also cave is there, right? So both the sides caves are there here. Simple, remember concave like that only. Now, how do you differentiate these lenses? When you can see that here, this is thick in the center and very thin in the edges. You will get to see these lenses in your school lab actually. At home you will not be having these lenses. So when you touch that lens, you can understand, you can make out when you touch that. It is actually bulged in the center and very thin at the corner. You can make out by the figure how I have drawn this. Where in concave, when we talk about, it is thin in the center and it is thick at the edges, at the corners. That's what, when you get to see this lens, when you hold it in your hand, touch them and see, you will feel how it is thick and thin, you will make out that. So this is about convex and concave lens. Now let's talk about, when we talk about a biconvex lens here, what about its curvature? What about its focus? For example, let me consider this part. We need to know how the focus is there, right? So if I imagine, if I assume it has to be a spherical here, this is one sphere, and if I imagine now this is another sphere, that means with respect to this is C and this is C dash, and this center is called as O, which is optic center. What is O? O is called as an optic center, that is the center of the lens. The line which divides the optic center, this part is called as a aperture. Now these definitions are not mentioned in the notes children, about optic center, curvature, principal axis, focus 1, focus 2. So that I'll be sending you as a small PDF. You can just make a note of it. So this line is called as a principal axis. Now here, what happens here is, you have two focus. You have focus for this side of the curvature as well as this side of the curvature also. That is, when we draw a lens, I'll also teach you how to draw lens neatly. So this is optic center. right? This is optic center. Exactly the distance what you measure here is called as the focus 1. Double to that is twice the focus 1, right? So there how we have the focus and the curvature, we similarly have it here to this side of the lens. To this side of the another side of the curvature lens, we have f2 and we have twice the f2. That means this measurement is half of, this whole measurement when we talk about these two are half of it. Whatever you take here, the same has to be taken here, same as here from the optic center and over here also. So all the measurements what you can say again are from the optic center. Now what is this focus 1? What is this focus 2? What is the curvature? What is the aperture? What is focus? Again, we know the same thing. What is focus? We all already know. We had discussed that in the mirror part itself. I will again send that as a PDF to you along with this video. Now let's understand the basic rules to draw the ray diagram here. Now what are the rules to draw the ray diagram for a convex mirror, a convex lens? See children, just remember there we had drawn all the ray diagrams for concave mirror. We had only one or two for convex mirror, right? It's ulta here. We have all the ray diagrams here for convex. Why? Because it is converging and concave is diverging. So we just have one or two. Now what are the rules? Now we know that anything which passes the lens, it will refract. That is, it will bend. So which is there any ray when it passes through the lens that does not refract? You remember about zero refraction I had spoken about. See, anything when you observe it from a particular angle. I have a glass that the lemon is there. If I just observe the lemon from this angle, for me the lemon appears bigger. But if I hold the glass right in front of me and I look it through this perpendicular angle, I can see exactly the lemon what is placed in it, right? That means there is no refraction taking place at that point of time. I can see it is exactly the size, same thing, no bending is happening. Even here, any light ray that passes through the optic center passes undeviated, right? Any ray which is passing through the lens through optic center will directly pass in a straight line without bending. Which is the ray which passes straight through a lens without bending? The ray which passes through the optic center passes undeviated without bending. Remember this. This is rule number 1. Second rule is any ray which will strike the lens, right? The minute it strikes the lens, the light ray has to bend. We know that bending of a light ray is called as refraction. That light ray will bend and pass through the focus. Okay? The point of intersection where the ray has passed from the optic center and the ray which has bended and passed through the focus, that point of intersection, the image formation is done. Very simple rules, right? Then mirror, what we had? Mirror we had from curvature, we had from focus, we had from pole, so many things we had. Actually it is much simple here in the lens part. Over. You need to only follow these two rules. When the object is kept beyond 2f, when the object is kept at infinity, beyond 2f, at 2f, between f and 2f, at f, between f and 2. Done. We are done with the ray diagrams for lens. Now let's talk. So let's start the ray diagram for convex lens. So the first one, when the object is kept at infinity, okay, at infinity. Even here the same thing, nature, size, position, we need to write. First draw the principal axis as the rule. Now lens, how to draw? Do not draw very thick lens. For example, don't draw the lens like this. Don't draw such thick lens. Don't draw such thin lens where you will not even come to know what have you drawn, right? Appropriate the lens should look. So See, I'm again and again telling you because most of the time I see these type of lens. The thing what happens, children, you get the position of the image wrong at sometimes. So try to draw the lens accurately, not too thick, not too thin, appropriate lens. Now, how do you know that the lens is appropriate? And how big should be the lens? How small should be the lens? Same like the mirror rule, what I'll tell you here is. Protractor or compass can be used, children, accordingly. Keep your compass here. 60 degree is the marking. It's the best marking, what I'll tell you always is in your protractor. So use 60 degree marking there as well as here. Both 60 degree. And here, how much to use that? See wherever this line will cut with respect to that for 60 degree. With that respect, you draw this side. Okay, I think my lens has come a slight curved or something here, but that comes very neat. 60 degree lens when you draw. 60 degree means you understood here, right? From this 90 degree point, 60 here and 60 here. Same thing when you keep it this side to draw that 60 degree. See that end where it cuts. That is the appropriate way to draw the lens. No freehand drawing here, first of all. Then, you know that in your book, exactly you can cut this aperture line here, right? Do that with a dotted line, actually, if possible. Even if you don't do, that's okay. But if you are not doing it, accurately mark the center as O. Even if the aperture is not marked, that is fine. But the center should be marked accurately. After you draw the lens, after you mark the aperture O, optic center when you mark, then mark the focus on both the sides. Before itself, don't mark the focus and then draw the lens here. Pay very attention to this, what I am telling right now. First draw the lens. I know my lens looks slightly slant over the side. Manage it. So, because on the board I cannot just think of what. Anyhow, that's not a matter, but I know you will get accurately correct. From the optic center, mark focus on both the sides. How much to mark? Again, we remember 4 cm, 2 cm, 2 cm, what we have done? Use the same rule here, children. Right? So 2 cm, 2 cm. Here also same thing. I will use now. So 2 cm, 2 cm. So this is F1. This is twice F1. Marking, writing, must and should. This is F2. This is twice the F2. Always. Object is kept at infinity. Where? We don't know. So this ray diagram for object at infinity is also known as show that convex lenses are converging. Okay, this is the ray diagram to show that convex lenses are converging. So draw two rays above the principal axis. First ray, second ray. Here as well you can just show first ray and second ray. As soon as you draw the ray, see why I have to draw the aperture is you should not tell where the ray should cut. The ray should not go beyond that. That is the point. That is why I told you in dotted lines draw the aperture. Okay. So arrow marks are very important when you draw. As soon as the ray hits the lens, what the lens will do? There is no ray coming from optic center here. It all focuses on the focus. Which focus? The first focus of here. The second focus. This is twice the second focus. All the this focus, the rays will not converge, children. The rays will always converge on the second focus of the lens. So the second focus converge all the rays to show that convex is a converging lens. Do it neatly with the arrow marks. Where is, okay, done. Let us write position. Position of the image. Size of the image Nature of the image. Must and should, what you have to write. What is the position of the image? At F2. Okay. What is the size? Diminished. Highly diminished, right? The word. Highly diminished. Point size. All convex lens will produce real inverted image. Done. We showed that when the object was kept at infinity, the image is formed at F2. It is highly diminished, point size, real and inverted. As well, this is to show that the convex lenses are converging. Right? Let's go with the next one. If it is kept at infinity now, where should I next keep the object? I have to keep beyond 2f1. So let me only rub this. Okay, anyhow, it is. Okay. So this is F1. So it is beyond F1 where the object is kept. So let me a bit extend this line. So this is 2F1. Now what should be the size? I'll keep beyond F1 here always. Don't keep half of the lens. Half means upper half I am talking about, not the whole lens. Do not keep half, do not keep full, you can keep 3/4. Use one measurement, children. Now, in case if you want, when you draw that, an accurate measurement will come. Use that typically for all the lens, mirror, everything the same thing. You will know by now what should be the measurement taken. So, I have kept it beyond 2f. As per the rule, what will happen? The first ray goes parallel to the principal axis, right? Then what it has to do? Once it reaches, it passes through the focus to arrow mark. There are some more rays which I have drawn here of the previous one. Okay, no confusions. Done. Where will the second ray go now? The second ray will directly travel through optic center. Take the ray through optic center. This is the point where image is formed. So, image is formed between position of the image between F2 and 2F2. Children, F2 and 2F2 writing is very important because if you write F1 and 2F1, it is absolutely wrong. F1 is here, F2 is here. That's very important. Now, what do you think? What is the size of the image? What I have taken and what I have drawn here, is that the same? Yes, it is the same. So it is same as size of the object. Teacher, what if I get a different size? You can ask me. That means your ray diagram is wrong. Why? Because it is standard, children. When you keep an object beyond 2f, you have to get it between f and 2f. I mean f2 and 2f2 only, right? For focus 2 and twice the focus 2, and the size should be same as what we get. That is why it is a standard. You can't be getting different. I can't be getting different. Everybody has to get the same thing because these ray diagrams can be performed in the laboratory. You have the optical bench will be there where you can place the candle, place the screen, place the lens, where accurately you can mark and get this, right? So same as size of object. Nature, real and inverted. Arrow marks. If I forget also arrow marks, please make sure that you do it. Right, it's very clear. Okay, I did not mention here. Second one, beyond 2f1. Yes. Now, what are the next two here? I think by now you know how to draw the ray diagrams. Now the next thing is when the object is kept at 2f1. So basically I just have a rough figure here. So this is O, this is f2, this is 2f2, this is f1, this is 2f1. So the object is kept here. First ray comes, it comes here. The second ray will directly focus through the optic center. So when it comes here, image is formed here. That means when the object is kept at 2f, image is formed at 2f. Size, I have got this size, but this will be bigger. It's a homework for you all which you will be doing it here. That is when the object is kept. Now what should we know, teacher? Which should be drawn next? It's given in the notes, children. I know, but the thing is what, you can't copy ray diagrams. Why? Because even if I show you, you have to do like this. You should know how to draw first of all. So ray diagrams are the one you can't copy. You can't be just drawing and manipulating the lines and saying that yes, I got it here. You can easily come to know if you have manipulated with the ray diagrams. Because the rays how you draw, first of all you should know the rules for the ray diagram. Until unless you don't know the rules, you cannot copy ray diagram which is given in the book, right? That's why I know it's given here, but still I'm giving you as a homework because clarification you will come to know where the object has to be formed. But diagram should be done by you all only. So the second part, that is when the object is kept at 2f, I'm giving at 2f1, I'm giving you as a homework. The next is when the object is kept between f1 and 2f1. That is also homework. You can see here the image is formed beyond 2f1. It is still highly enlarged. See, first was point size, then the same size, then slightly big, then still slightly big. So these two are marking for homework for you all. The next one what I will do now is when the object, or anyhow that's very clear here also. When the object is kept at f1, that is when the object is kept at focus 1. Sorry. What will happen when the object is kept at focus 1? So optic center, focus 1, twice the focus 1, focus 2, twice the focus 2. So it is kept at focus 1, the first ray goes here, it goes. Now second ray has to go, what? Through optic center. What is happening? Are they moving parallel? Yeah, they are moving parallel, right? They are not meeting neither here or if you extend here. Then what is the conclusion, children? When the object is kept at f1, image is formed where? Somewhere. But where? At infinity. That is what for the first one we did now. Parallel rays of light had come. That is why we said from infinity they are coming. Object we don't know where they meet. Somewhere infinity they might meet. So image is formed at infinity. What is the size? Highly enlarged. Why? Because we don't know how big it is. Enlarged is enlarged. Highly enlarged is for infinity what we use that. Diminished is small. Highly diminished for point size what we use. Highly enlarged or magnified you can use another word here. Magnified is another word what we can use for highly magnified. These are the terms and words what we use in ray diagrams. Yeah. The last one which I will do it now here. So when the object is kept at, or when the object is kept between f1 and the optic center, let's see where we get that. So this is f2 and this is 2f2. So the object is kept here. First ray goes straight. Let me do the changes here also, children. The last one in the ray diagram here. When the object is kept, F1 you are doing it. When the object is kept, last one, between F1 and O. So this is the object. The first ray, what we draw here is this. Okay. Now the second ray will pass, I'll just show it from here, will pass through the optic center. Are they meeting? They are actually going apart. So what we have to do here, we have to actually extend them back. Extend them back. I'll do one thing, I will redraw this a bit down so that you can understand it properly. Because we need to extend it. So this is mine. Let me have the figure neatly. Okay, so here I know where I have to cut. Wherever this line cuts at respect to 90 degree, till there you can see and you can draw it where this is the optic center. Let me mark for 2F1 for F1 and F2 together. So this part here it is 1 and 2, where in this part here it is 1 and 2. Okay. So this is 2F1 and F1. So this is F2 and 2F2. When the object is kept between the focused one and the optic center. Okay. So the light ray travels till here, arrow mark, and it travels to the focus. Arrow marks are important. Yeah. The second ray, as per the rule, has to pass through the optic center. Right? So the second ray passes through the optic center. Can you see that these lines are actually moving apart? That means here if I extend them, they will go and meet at a particular point. So where it meets, let us see. Let us try to extend and join them. Yeah, actually, wait a minute. I think I have gone wrong in joining this line. Let me extend it correctly. Okay. Yes, there we got it. It's meeting here. So actually if you draw, children, the line, the image formation, what you get is actually beyond 2F, you get it clearly. Here what happens, sometimes my rays what I draw might not be very accurate. So but you get that beyond 2F and a very enlarged image what you get. So where is the image formed? Image is formed beyond 2F1, right? Enlarged. What type of image it is? When it is formed on the same side where the image, where the object is kept, it is virtual and erect. Right? So with this we complete ray diagrams for convex lens. Now let's have two ray diagrams for concave lens. One thing you remember, so this is a mirror, right? Any ray which hits the mirror has to retrace back in either or the other way. Same path or different path, we have understood, because the other surface is a rough surface. But since it is a lens is a transparent medium, right? So any ray which enters will actually come out. but how it comes out, it bends and it comes out. It has to come out of the lens, in the lens part. In the mirror, it cannot go. It has to go, retrace in the same path only. That one thing you remember. Okay? So, concave lens, rules for ray diagram is, so we have a concave lens here. So this is optic center. This is F2, twice the F2. This is F1, twice the F1. So any ray which enters the medium, the lens, what it has to do, it will pass the lens and go. It will not deviate there only like a mirror. It will pass, but the rule is it is entering a lens. That means it has to refract. Refract in what way? In diverging way. It will diverge. It will diverge in such a way that you produce it backwards. It's not actually coming. You produce it backwards. It will come and meet the focus. A ray entering here will actually deviate like this. This is the ray. You produce this ray backwards. It will come and meet at the focus. This is rule number 1. Rule number 2 is what? Any ray which is entering through the optic center will pass through optic center without any deviation. That we know, right? Now let's quickly start with the ray diagrams. So very clear about the rule, children? Yeah, with the first what I have done, just concentrate on this part. So let's first draw the lens when the object is kept at infinity. So this is called as, show that concave lens are diverging. So first let us draw. Now we know the rule here. First we draw this form. Okay, this side is over. To this side, when we come again for 90 degree, you consider, see how much thick or thin you want. Don't take too thin, don't take too thick, but at 90 degree point you see the same angle what you have used there, use it this side also, right? Then draw the lines. Okay, make very sure that your optic center what you have drawn is right at the center. Very, very important. Then let us mark this for the focus point now. So focus 1 and focus 2, as well as here focus 1 and focus 2. This point is 2F1, F1, F2, 2F2. Again I am telling, first draw the lens, then the optic center, then mark the focus. So we will only take 2 rays, children, that's more than enough. First ray traveling through infinity, we don't know from where. Second ray is also traveling through infinity, right? Both the rays are traveling through infinity. Since it travels through infinity, they have to deviate. They deviate in such a way that from this they deviate. When you produce them back, they meet at F1. Draw arrow marks. Deviating through the lens. Again here. They deviate. They deviate in such a way that you produce them back, they come and meet at focus. The ray which is going here will deviate in this direction. So, where is the image formed? Image is formed at F1. Understood if you write it F1 because F2 is this side. Then, size. Highly diminished. nature, point size. Nature, virtual. Any image formed on the same side of the object kept, it is always virtual. And erect. Very clear? This is the first one. Now, second one, where do we keep? We keep it between 2F1 and F1. Between this, we keep the object. Now, we'll do the adjustments here only. So, I'll just rub these rays. Again, you know, right? For the first mirror, I had asked you all to make some tabular column, right? Same thing you all can do for this also. Now, the second ray we will keep between these two. So, object is kept between 2F1 and F1. Between the first focus. First ray travels to the focus. As soon as it travels, it actually deviates back to the other side. You can just show here. In such a way that you produce it back, you actually get the image here. I mean, you actually line comes here. Show that first. This is how you show it, right? That producing backward should always be in dotted line. Now, how will the second ray travel? Second ray will travel directly to the optic center without any deviation. So, draw it without any deviation. This is a point where the produced ray and the actual ray has met. Now that is a point where the image is formed. Where is the image formed? Between F1 and O. Size diminished. Nature, virtual and erect. Very clear about the ray diagram. So with that we complete ray diagram for the lens. And so children, we will end today's session with this ray diagrams for the spherical lens, that is for convex lens as well as for concave lens. Now in tomorrow's session we will understand about lens formula. As same how we had mirror formula, right? We have a formula for lens also. As well, we have sign conventions for these lens. What is the focal length? Whether focal length should be positive, negative, in which cases? In convex and concave, what should be the sign of the focal length? What should be the sign of the object distance, image distance, height of the object, height of the image, magnification? The same thing we will study again for the lens also. Along with that, the last one topic which is left about power. We'll also discuss about what is known as power of the lens in our tomorrow's session.